Welcome to the chapter of the price calculation. How do I calculate the price of my products or services? We have two possibilities of approach. From one side, I'm answering the question, what are the costs of my production? So I have to know all my costs, production costs, but also additional costs, but also situation of competition. If I'm alone on the market, it will change my view about the price. And if I have a lot of competitors, that has also a lot of influence on my price calculation. This is one side, and in the following video we will treat mostly these questions. But there's another question as well. What is the customer willing to pay for my product and services? It's a completely different approach. What's the income situation of my customers? What is the wealth of my customers? Or what's the wealth of my product? Does he need my product? Or are my products just nice to have? What is the market situation? So this question is also part of the price calculation, but it's more the question of marketing session, the marketing videos to get from this side, and the financial planning helps you to come from this side. But never forget one side, this one or this one, you need both of them to get a good idea of your price. If we talk about price calculation, we have also to talk about competition. This man is selling apples. He's the only one on the market, and he sells the apple for $3 per kilogram. Suddenly he gets a competitor, and what did he do? He was decreasing the price, and he made marketing, public relation, advertisement, ding, ling, 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 ling. What's the reaction of the former lonely supplier? He's also descending the price. And again and again. And what's the end result? They are arguing who is right, who is wrong. And who's the winner of this system? Who's the winner of this system? We will talk about later. In another picture, the same situation. I have supplier green, supplier blue, and I have here the customer. And that's the level of quality, the level of price. It's the level of total arrangement of my product. So the green supplier is rising the quality, and what's the reaction? The customer is buying now by the green supplier. The blue supplier, he can't keep it like this. He also he's also innovative, and he increases his quality. He adds additional service. And what's the reaction? Now the customer will buy his products. Oh, the green supplier, he cannot stand, he cannot live with the situation. He's increasing again the quality. Also additional services, more additional services. What's the reaction? The customer is changing. Now the blue one, he also increases the quality, he offers new products. What's happening again? The customer is changing. Same situation, and who's the winner? At first glance, you might think, easy, the winner is the customer. Yes, the customer is the winner or is a winner because he gets more and more products for the same or for a lower price. But it's not the only winner. The other winners are the suppliers. The competition helps him to improve his services and his products. Without competition, he would keep it like this. He has no need to improve his product. And because he's the only one, the customer has to buy his products. But a second competitor is enough, and they don't speech with each other. So that's the race of quality and better price and more service. And in the past, in the Eastern, I remember 1996, I was the first time in Romania, and I saw there a lot of Dacias. And it's funny, until 92, 93, the Dacia was almost the same than it was 20 years before. But then the border opened, Western cars were available, and Dacia had to improve his quality, his products, to beat the other products in the company, in the country. And now it's a very famous car, also in Switzerland. I can see Dacia all over in Switzerland because it's an affordable car with a high quality and a lot of services inside. That's the reason, and that's the benefit of a competition, not only for the customer, but for the whole system, supplier and customer. If you read about price calculation, you will always see this kind of chart. The demand line with a higher price, you have this quantity to sell. The demand is about this quantity, and with a lower price, the demand is much higher. So you have such a curve, such a line. On the other side, the supply line, it's the opposite. If you have a high price, the suppliers are highly willing to sell more. And if you have a low price, just very few suppliers wants to sell their products. So these two lines, the demand line and the supply line, are very famous in this model. And how do you get now the market price? Yes, it's very simple. You cross these two lines, the demand line and the supply line, and here, where the line meet each other, that's the market price with the volume and the price. So that's a very theoretical approach, but at least you should know, you should have seen it once. Demand line, supply line, where these two lines cross each other, is the market price. Theoretical. Let's talk about the price calculation, the system. I would like to introduce the system, how it also works in the SwissCreate Business Manager. First of all, we have two kinds of cost systems. First, you have direct costs. you can measure, you know the price of each specific element. And the other possibility is you don't know the exact specific price and you're working with percentages, with charges. First, the material. That's raw material, specific material you buy also, and you can determine exactly how much wood it needs, how many coffee is needed to make it, whatever. That's the raw material. But then you have a lot of other material like glue, if you are a carpenter, or screws, or painting liquid, whatever. Something which is not directly visible as material, and here you can work with a percentage, with a charge. How much is it? It depends on the company. You should calculate or add all these costs and then have a look what is the relation between raw material and this help material. Wages, of course, you have specific labor workers which are working for this specific product, and you know how long they have to work. This amount of hours, and you know how much an hour costs, is the price of the labor work. But also here, these labor works, you have wages of the overhead costs that can be easy 40-50%, like social insurance, like HR, and this costs you count with a percentage. Then you have direct costs. That means if you have very specific big machines or equipment which you have to use. So if this labor is working 2-3 hours with a specific and expensive machine, count here the costs of this machine, including also the depreciation. And all this together gives you the production costs. And then you have other costs like the administration, the management, the sale, all these employees which are not directly working for the specific product, and you charge these costs also with an additional charge that can be 15-20%. And also this charge you have to calculate and to estimate. Then you have third-party works that can be a transportation work or a special color, painting. And if this work doesn't need any coordination of the company, you put it here. If there is a specific coordination needed, then you could also add it in this chapter. So you will add here the management and the coordination work with this chart here. All these costs together gives you the prime costs. And now what else? Then you have risk and profit. You have to analyze how much is it. In Europe it's between 10 and 15% or 7 to 12%, something like that. It depends on your branch, on your risk you have to take. So this can be 20%, whatever it needs to cover the profit and to cover the risk you are working with. At the end, the value added tax, add it, otherwise you will pay it with your own money, and this all together gives you the sale price of your product or your services. And the Swiss grade business manager includes all these steps. So it's wise to do it with the business manager.